Yes. Okay. So, beta, chapter number 8 is strategy, implementation, and control. Once again. Yes, please. Kindly pay attention. This chapter, students, very interesting. Good morning, all of you. Chennai, let's start, beta. Aparna, good morning. You come in the morning today. Vansh Doshi, Kemcho, Yash Kothari, कैसा है? खुशी भी आ गई आज. हिना, खुशी दो खुशी है, खुशी खुशी आज बाजार में. चलो. Now, my dear students, pay attention. This is the last chapter. Tomorrow I should be able to finish the portion. Then any doubts, difficulties, if you have, I'll discuss that. मेरे को आता ही है, don't worry about anything. Strategy, implementation, and control. Kindly pay attention, students. See, in this topic, we are going to study about the second aspect of strategic management. If you remember, students, we studied strategic management has two parts: strategy formulation and strategy implementation. Here we are going to study, students, the second part, strategy implementation. One second. Okay, I'll do that. Chapter number 7, what is remaining, I'll do it afterward research. Let me start this now. Okay, I'll do that, but don't worry. You paid the fees, I'll complete everything, don't worry. Now, and it's not connected to that particular topic. Okay, beta, pay attention. So the thing is, strategy management, I said, has two parts: strategy formulation and strategy implementation. Here we're going to study about the implementation part. Now let's be very clear, beta. It's said so many times in the past. Okay, we are not just supposed to do, we are not just supposed to do the right things. याद आ रहा है? आगे क्या लिखेंगे हम लोग? Come on, tell me. But we are supposed to also do, come on, the things right. So, doing the right thing is strategy formulation. Doing the things right will be strategy implementation. Let us be very clear of one fact, students. It is said that 70% of the CEOs fail not because they don't do the right things, but they don't do the things right. That means 70% of the chief executive officers fail because implementation is not done properly. So, beta, implementation is as important as formulation. You know, it's very important to go in the right direction. But then, beta, you should go in the right speed also. Otherwise, you will not reach the destination on time. So, first thing, if I have to explain, what is the difference between strategy formulation and implementation? Then how do I give that particular difference between formulation and implementation is what we'll study first. Second, beta, we'll study a matrix about formulation and implementation. Third, we'll study today something called as what is effectiveness and efficiency. And then why strategies fail. Please pay attention. Let's understand. See, first, students, let's understand what's the difference between strategy formulation and strategy implementation. Those who have joined late, beta, please pay attention. In the first lecture, when I was teaching you definition of strategic management, I said Strategic management is a managerial process of developing a vision, setting objectives, crafting strategies. Crafting strategies is formulation, sir, and implementing and evaluating strategies. That's this part. And initiating corrective adjustments wherever deemed appropriate. So I was planning to go in a particular way and something went wrong. Then beta implementation and control is what is the main thing that we have to study in this chapter. So my dear student, first let's understand what's the difference between formulation and implementation. Can I say the first point? Strategy formulation is a process where you, come on, tell me, prepare strategies, where you make strategies. Sanya, strategies will be made by people at the corporate level, beta, again, business level, come on, functional level. Implementation, students, come on, tell me what? It is working on the strategies. If this is thinking work, if this is a thinking process, this is a doing process. Let's be very clear. Here we think, here we do. Third point. Whenever you go for strategy formulation, you need to have good intuitive and analytical skills. What does that mean, beta? Intuitive means, students, your mind should question what I want to achieve with what resources I have. So you should take into account, students, your strength and weaknesses. And on the basis of, come on, opportunities and threats, make strategies. Bit of formulation, you need to have good intuitive analytical skills. Implementation, beta, you need to have good leadership skills. You should be a good, come on, motivator. So there should be good, come on, what? Motivation skills as such. Because be very clear, management will not do the work. He will get the work done. To repeat fast what I said till now, formulation is concerned with preparation of strategies. Who prepares strategies better? Corporate level, business level, functional level. Implementation is working on those strategies. So I can say implementation is converting the dreams into reality. So when the board of directors sit in the corporate office, they have a dream, and that dream is converted into reality when we implement that particular strategy. So formulation, I said, is a thinking process. This is a doing process. This requires good intuitive and analytical skills. How do you do intuition, students? On the basis of your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Here you need good leadership and motivation skills. Next point. Strategy formulation is something that precedes strategy implementation. Matlab kya beta? It always comes before. And strategy implementation is something, chalo bolo Rakshita, it always follows strategy formulation. I hope you're understanding, boys and girls. Precedes means it comes first. Follows us, it follows student formulation. That means after you formulated strategy, you implement those strategies. Next point, students, the number of heads involved in strategy formulation will be less. Less number of people are involved in formulation. Here, can I say the number of heads involved, come on, will be more. Am I right? So if it's a 3-mark question, students, like this you can write. And most important, formulation has to be good. Implementation has to be excellent. Only those organizations which have good strategy formulation and better strategy implementation will succeed. So you need to be very clear with of one thing, and please now we are friends. Don't mind me saying like that. You having a strategy that you will do CA is the best strategy formulation that you could have done. What happens, students? Imagine in 3.5 to 4 years, your one signature would fetch you that much amount of money which you paid for doing your full CA. So you become that important, students. So you're going in the right direction, formulation. But my dear students, you're doing the right things. Now, Sania, you're supposed to do the things right. Just by saying that I want to do a CA, you don't become a chartered accountant. You have to go through the grind. You getting my point? Through the pains and sacrifices that this course requires. Then only you'll become a chartered accountant. So, beta, another point I can write, students, strategy formulation. For good formulation, you have to be effective. Effective is one who understands the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, threats, and makes good strategies. And implementation, bacha, is one who is efficient. Efficient ka matlab, bacha, be very clear, with less input, you are able to get more output. So Akshaya beta, when I'm talking about implementation, I'm basically concerned with what reducing my cost. When I'm talking about effectiveness, I'm basically talking about increasing my sales. Is this clear? Any doubts over here? No doubts. I suppose everything should be very crystal clear. One point you need to remember, and that point is this, students. 70% of the CEOs fail not because of poor strategy formulation, but because of bad strategy implementation. Please remember, strategy formulation is conceiving of an idea, right? Aparna, conceiving of an idea. And beta, remember, ideas don't work unless and until we work on those ideas. Rakshita, acha tha na, right? Ideas don't work till we work on ideas. So having a good, great idea is formulation. But working on that idea will be what come on? Implementation. So henceforth, please remember, formulation and implementation are both complementary to each other. Success is defined only on the basis of good strategy formulation and better strategy implementation. We'll just go through some points. Pay attention. See what it says, ideas work when we work on ideas. That point is clear. यहाँ पे देखो, strategic management process does not end. Come on, when the firm decides what strategies to pursue. इसका मतलब strategic management का only one part is formulation. Just thinking makes no sense. Doing is also important. There must be translation of strategic thought into strategic action. Right? याद है बेटा ये translation of strategic thought into strategic action. The corporate level sitting in the boardroom has a particular dream. That dream will remain in their dreams only if you don't work on those dreams. Am I right? Sania, बराबर है कि नहीं बेटा? तो आपको उस पे काम करना पड़ेगा. You'll have to work on that particular thing, students. Be very clear about it. It is said, student, Rome was not built in a day. And God helps them, those who help themselves. So please, going to the temple and just wasting your time makes no sense. In your home, you have a temple and you have your mom and dad as good as God. Take their blessings and start properly with them. Work is worship, I believe. Who succeeds in chartered accountant? One who works hard. So it's not just thinking that I want to do CA is important. but you have to put in effort what a chartered accountant would have put in as such. See, excellent strategies by themselves cannot lead to action and to the attainment of strategic intent. Strategies have to be implemented effectively for the realization of the objectives. See, this sentence I was telling you, a study revealed that 70% of the CEOs fail not because of bad strategy, but because of bad execution. Got the point? Are yes or no? Beta, in the past when we used to play cricket matches, na, so our team we used to have Sachin Tendulkar, God. Despite the God and such a strong paper on the team, we would lose matches continuously. Why? Kya fayda beta? What is the use of being strong on paper? You have to be better on the ground. Remember that. I told you all in the value chain analysis, it's a team game. One person has to be good or the team has to be good. The team has to be good. Be very clear about it, students. So here another thing that comes that you need to understand, most of the time why strategies fail, because the bosses who are there sitting in the boardroom do not convey what is there in their mind. They do not come to the rescue of the people at the functional level. They do not pass on the authority down level, students, to the functional level. Organizations fail. Remember one thing, beta. The idea was conceived at the boardroom. The baby was delivered on the ground. So what has happened, students? There has to be transition of authority from the corporate level to the functional level. Please remember. Now, that's very easy, Vacha. This is what I just now said. Difference between strategy formulation and strategy implementation. See, this distinguishes is given. Please go through that bit of fast. So, just read that properly. Slogan. Slogan. Right now. Chalo, beta. Point is clear. Akshaya, come and tell me what is the meaning of this positioning forces before the action? Action is implementation. So I had said one point, strategy formulation precedes. Yeah, and strategy, come on, implementation follows. So it's managing forces during the action. Focuses on effectiveness, focuses on efficiency. It's an intellectual process, thinking process. It's an operational, that's a doing process. You need to have good intuitive and analytical skills. You need to have motivation and leadership skills. It requires coordination. I said number of heads involved are less here, number more. Then that's very easy, Vacha. It's an entrepreneurial, administrative, top level and middle and operational level management. Any doubts over here? Bolo beta, no doubts, sir. Pay attention. Now, this one particular question was asked. Relationship between formulation and implementation. So, beta, when a question is asked, formulation and implementation, let us say 5 marks. So, you'll have to first explain about formulation, implementation, and then the relationship. Please understand, this is very easy. If you think properly, what I'm saying, students, you will be very crystal clear in this. See, there are two aspects I said to strategic management: strategy formulation, strategy implementation. Now, formulation can be sound, that means perfect. You've seen your strengths and weaknesses, And on the basis of opportunities and threats, you made strategies. So, beta, you made a perfect strategy. The strategy formulation is sound. Strategy formulation is flawed. Flawed means you made a mistake in making the strategy. Implementation is weak, implementation is excellent. What does that mean, weak and excellent? Take this case, one particular team comes to bat and in 20 over students, they're able to make 200 runs. And another team makes 120 runs in 20 overs. So, beta, if RCB makes 120 runs in 20 overs, so they are weak. And Chennai Macha comes and student scores 200 runs come on in 20 overs, so that's excellent. Am I right? Point is clear. Abhi, please understand. And this is what you need to tell yourself now. See this. Strategy formulation is sound. You made a very good strategy, but beta implementation is weak. So you're just doing the right things, but you're not doing the things right. Just imagine, students, your younger brother is now with you doing CA. So if your younger brother, your sister is doing CA with you, and you have been doing CA for last 2-3 attempts, somewhere you'll feel ashamed. Na? Kya ho raha hai yaar? Kya chal raha hai? And then, bacha, it means what? You have, come on, failed. You're in block A. Fail. Fail. Why fail? Because you are not able to achieve the target when you should have achieved it. Remember, students, they say now justice delayed is justice denied. So success also, if you get it later, it makes no sense as such. So please first block me sound strategy, good strategy, but weak implementation fail. Take the second case, flawed strategy. Strategy only is wrong and you are weak. Oh my God. So strategy is flawed and student implementation is weak. So you look to me like Rahul Gandhi. You getting my point? Obviously, there is only one option, fail, 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 and fail. That is in C category. Someone is feeling bad? I'm sorry for that, student, but please don't feel bad. This is just a lecture going on. Next, student, strategy is flawed. I mean, this is dangerous. You're going in the wrong direction, but you're very hardworking. Nonsense. If you're very hardworking, still, you will not reach the destination where you want to reach because you've made the wrong strategy. Be very clear, beta. It's important from this understanding. Your strategy formulation has to be sound. If your strategy formulation is flawed, then in both the cases, C and D, you will fail. You will also fail if you are not as hardworking as the other person. You're not as good in working as your some other family member as such. So only in one case you will get success. Chalo, khud bola batao mere ko, when you'll get success, come on, tell me. When strategy formulation is sound and implementation is excellent. So my dear students, those who have achieved success in life, they first made the perfect strategy and they worked better than what others would have been working. Remember one thing that I said, now, God helps them, those who help themselves. Here you're helping yourself. Most of the time we Indian students waste our time finding fault in others. That's wrong. But why the hell should we find fault in others? I should always try to become a better me. I've said 100 times, students. Many times we get so angry at small things. Mad you are. Small things, if you get angry, Sania, छोटी बात में गुस्सा आ जाएगा. तो बच्चा अच्छी बात है क्या Sania? Tell me, it's not good ना बेटा. हंसते रहना चाहिए. You have to remember one thing, and I've told you 100 times, beta, you are like my children as such. Remember, who is a successful person? They say it's not that a successful person has not tasted failure. He must have failed sometime in his life. But beta, a successful person is one who doesn't repeats the mistakes that he had done one. Please remember. तो आपने एक बार गलती किया ना, you made a mistake. You will not repeat that mistake again. You will achieve success. And who is a failure? It's not that the failure has not tasted success. Failure will be one, come on, who may have tasted success, but he repeats his mistakes again and again. So please, my dear students, we fall, but we don't lose. We will lose if we don't, come on, if you're not ready to stand up again. So please remember, beta, only one way you will become successful in life. Right path you're going, and you're going at the right speed. So sound strategy formulation and with a perfect strategy implementation. Cut that. That is what it is. Now, this part, students, is what I've explained to you all. You can read that properly as such whenever you have time. Next question, very, very important from examination point of view. When they ask formulation and implementation, they can also ask about efficiency and effectiveness in strategy. I just now said, if you remember, beta, please understand now, it's very easy. Efficiency and effectiveness. I said, beta, if you remember, strategy formulation, when I say, I'm talking of being what, come on, tell me, effective. When I'm talking of strategy implementation, I'm talking of being what, come on, efficient. I'm talking of being what, come on, efficient. I mean, remember, beta, effective I am, so I'm able to make effective plans, effective strategies. With that, I'll be able to increase my sales. I'm effective. Come on, I'm efficient when I'm able to reduce my cost. Now, very easy. मेरे को आता है ये, आपको भी आ जाएगा. But there's one question I'll ask you in this, beta, and all of you be very clear. Answer that now only, so that always you'll remember this answer. See, first, how do we understand this, beta? How to prepare this matrix? There's a way that you have to prepare this, and that, please, you should remember. First, on the x-axis, I'm writing strategy formulation. I told you formulation means being effective. So, beta, there are some people who are effective, there are some people who are ineffective. So, see, I've written over here, formulation can be effective, formulation can be ineffective. So, once, what is effective and ineffective? Ineffective means you're not going in the right direction, Akshaya, and effective is what? You're going in the right direction. So, beta, you are effective, you may be ineffective. Those are two options we have. Then strategy implementation, may I said, bacha, they say over here, operational management. Same, implementation is operational management. You need to be efficient. So there are some people who are efficient and there are some people who are inefficient. You see this? Efficient and inefficient. Is this clear? All of you, beta, Aparna, any doubts? So formulation, may remember formulation. Formulation means being effective. So there may be some people who are effective, some who are ineffective. Some strategies are effective, some strategies are ineffective. Efficiency there may be efficient people, there may be inefficient people. A strategy implementation is efficient, strategy implementation is inefficient. Now, very easy. Try to understand, beta. If it's a 5-mark question, so you'll have to write something more. I know this, kindly pay attention. First option. Suppose, beta, you make a strategy which is effective. That means you're making a very good, perfect strategy. You're doing the right thing. And beta, implementation is efficient. Implementation is efficient means what? You're doing the things also right, at the right speed. So right things right, at the right speed. All such organizations, students who are doing the right things right, will thrive. Thrive, when I say, beta, I mean only one thing. they will thrive with abnormal profit. What is abnormal profit, beta? In the industry, everyone is making 12% profit. Such organizations will make more than 12% profit. Maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% profit. And maybe more than that. Please remember. If in the exam it's a 5-mark question, you'll have to elaborate. Why do they make abnormal profit? Become very easy. See, when you are effective, I said effectiveness means your sales will increase. Come on, so I can write over here. Your sales will be more. And when you're efficient, come on, tell me, jaldi bolo, your cost will be less. So that gives you the answer, beta. You're selling more and incurring less cost. Cut back. Abnormal profit. Agreed? Any doubts? Boys and girls, look at the fourth block. Your strategy formulation is ineffective. Ineffective means what, beta? You are not in the right direction. And the next thing is that you're inefficient. Oh my God. So this is like, student, you're going in the wrong direction and not in the right speed also. Cut that. So one option only, die quickly. Agreed? Die quickly का मतलब क्या बच्चा? Tell me, means business will make loss. Kingfisher Airlines. Right now, uncle was good in making beer. Uncle was good in making whiskey. Why the hell did you venture into a business where you have no idea? Problem number one. So, beta, you are going in the wrong direction. And then, bacha, you concentrate more on what? Luxuries. Which I'm sorry to say, in my country, people can't afford. I would have traveled in Kingfisher Airlines, students, if my boss would have paid the ticket charges. On my own, I would have traveled in what? Indigo Airline, Air Asia. Why Air Asia, bacha? Because I can afford that. Let's be very clear. So please die quickly. Mein, what will happen? Chalo bolo beta. Ineffective. If you're ineffective, it means, come on, what? Tell me, what will you write? Your sales are less. Chalo aage bolo. And you're inefficient. Inefficient mein chalo bolo fast. Cost is more. Agreed? तो मरेगा बुरी तरह से मरेगा. See the third option, sorry. Third option says what, students? You're going in the right direction. You're going in the right direction. You are effective. But you are going slow compared to your other competitors. So maybe you will not stand first, second, third. You will come later. So, bacha, what will happen in that case? You will survive with what? Come on, normal profit. What's a profit? Chalo, tell me, what's the difference between normal and abnormal profit? Normal profit would mean how much bank would have given you interest, you are able to make that much amount of money. So your mom, your dad would say, Hushari mat kar jada, na? Don't act smart because you're making normal profit. Bank would have also given me that much amount of money. Majja nahi, not good. Now, beta, how do I show normal profit? Come on, tell me if you're effective. So here what happens? Come on, your sales are high. You're inefficient. Come on, your cost is also high. So whether your cost is more, any businessman would do what? Reduces cost. Right now, once you're established yourself, you'll try to reduce your cost. Then only profits will increase. Your cost is rising. Beka. Last point, shouldn't die slowly. This is a situation, shouldn't imagine, where ineffective. You're going in the wrong direction. You're going in the wrong direction, but you're very efficient. You know, there are some people, they act very smart, but they are not doing things, students, which one should have done. Best student understand this particular case, may your strategy is wrong. I'll tell you, students, when I used to take lectures in Chennai, remember I had to take a particular taxi to go from one place to some other center, Anna Nagar, some place was there. So when I'm going through the Uber or Ola, so first of all, I did not know the Tamil language over there. Tamil, Tumara, Andhra, what the state Tamil Nadu? So that language I would not know. Now, when I don't know the language, student in the Uber, I have to write na Anna Nagar. So, beta, first I should be clear na where I want to go. Then the driver will take me. Here, to bacha, I am not very clear where am I going. If a person, if an organization is such that they are not making proper strategies, they are ineffective in making strategies. इसका मतलब they're going in the wrong direction and they are very efficient. So every particular mistake they do now, they try to find out some reason to hide that mistake. Then what will happen, students? They'll die, but they'll die slowly. And obviously, they'll suffer more losses. Why losses will be more? Imagine you're ineffective. When you're ineffective, come on, tell me what will happen. Tell me, Jalili, go fast. Your sales will be less. Come on, what happened to efficient? Cost will be also less. So, beta, sales come to bechega kya? If sales is only less, so you will not be able to earn income, right? So now the chapter is going on, so topic is going on. 4 options. Thrive. In life, please remember, beta, all of you, don't just think of surviving. Think of thriving, becoming better than the best. Always remember, students, we are unique in our own ways. So you have to work to thrive in this particular world. Surviving, though, my dog Bruno also survives, students. Remember, you don't tell me I'll survive. No. Thrive. I mean, 4 boxes over here, 4 compartments are there. First may thrive, second may survive, next is student die slowly, last is die quickly. Can anyone tell me which is the worst place to be? 3rd or 4th? 3rd or 4th? Sanya has given the wrong answer. 4 is absolutely wrong. Beta, please. 4 is better than 3. 3rd, Sanya, beta, think na Raja. 3, Akshaya, 3. Why 3, beta? Imagine, 3 is like a person. Wait, I'll put it in a raw form. That a person is not well, he goes in a coma. So when a person goes in a coma, he's like a vegetable kept in a refrigerator. Na? Some days family would feel sorry for him. But then after some days, people will start praying now he should go. So, bacha, imagine when a person is not well, some days he's not well, then he should die. He sustains, remains in a coma. Oh my God. Then the family will die with him, paying the medical bills. Barabar hai na? Once. Agreed ki nahi beta? Imagine you have a business, you're going in the wrong direction and you're working very hard. Despite working very hard, you're not able to get the results that you want. Why? Because you're not going in the right direction. Beta, please remember, so out of those 4, 3rd is the worst place to be. Why? Because you know what? Die. Death is only what will happen in your business. And bacha, the death is also not coming faster. Bad. Why I'm saying this is bad, beta? Because you're not only your personal property, students, maybe your goodwill, your assets, your respect will also go away in that particular business. It's written over here. The particular point to note that is cell 2 is worse place to be than that is cell 3. Since in the latter, the strategic direction is present to ensure the effectiveness, even if rather too much input is being used to generate output. So, beta, kya likha? Sound strategy implementation require both effectiveness of strategy management and efficiency of operational management. So both the things are required. Effectiveness of strategic management, efficiency, operational management. See here the distinction. Please note down this what I've written over here. Beta, ek pen se jo likha na, aap log likh lo please. Note down this. अरे जिनेश मारवाड़ी तू भी आ गया आज. वेरी गुड. अफरा कैसी है? ऑल वेल बेटा. गुड. सोमेश्वर क्या खा रहा है? केला खा रहा है? नंदा 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 कैसे देख रहा है घूर घूर के? नंदा ऑल वेल? अंडरस्टैंडिंग ना बेटा? चलो लक्ष्य भी आया है. तिशा जैन मारवाड़ी समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? खुशबू जैन, खुशी जैन. Come on. So what is the secret of success, students? Come on, tell me. Secret of success is going to the temple or making good strategies and working on the strategies properly. Come on, tell me. I said do the right things and do the things right. You have to be effective. You also have to be efficient. This is done, but all of you. Now note down this distinguish is given in case it is asked in the exam. Distinguish between, come on, effectiveness and efficiency. Please read that. Effectiveness means, come on, tell me, to do the right things. Efficiency means to do the things right. Effectiveness is from strategy formulation point of view. This is implementation point of view. It focuses on the relationship between means and ends, customer satisfaction. Always remember, if customer is satisfied, I'll be able to increase my sales. Focuses on relation between input and output. If I'm able to focus on input and output, beta, tell me what will happen. I'll be able to reduce my cost. It's long term, it is short term. It focuses on linkage between firm and environment and focuses within the firm. Obviously, I said, beta, if you remember, I said you need to make strategy after considering strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. This is strategic in nature, analytical in nature. This is operational in nature. This is thinking, I had said. This is doing, I had said. So that is the way you'll write. Any doubts over here? Penarasi, agreed, beta? Okay, let's go ahead, students. See, there's a question that can be asked. What is the linkage between strategy formulation and implementation? Very easy. Pay attention. Two things they can ask. What is forward and what is backward linkage? Just kindly pay attention. It's very easy. See, in some organization, students, formulation is done by people sitting in the air-conditioned offices. Air-conditioned boardroom, they make strategies, formulate, and then the way they have formulated strategy, they expect that the company should make changes in the organization structure and implement as per what they say. I give an example. Let us say, please listen, all of you, pay attention. Ratan Tata, corporate level. Gopinath, you know, student, TCS, the new chairman, his salary the other day was disclosed. How much was his salary? Yaad hai, dekha tum logon ne. His salary was more than 52 crore rupees. And soch, 52 crore ka salary uncle ko mila. That's good amount of money, na? Now he is thinking of something, students, and he makes a strategy. On the basis of strategy that he makes, all people in the TCS implement it. So to implement it, they make changes in the organization structure. So, beta, when the management makes strategy without considering what changes the organization may have to make, only strategy is made and then implementation is followed. Forward linkages. I mean, wait, understand. Many a time, student, the bosses knows the organization structure. The bosses knows what kind of people are there in the organization. And keeping that in mind, they prepare strategy. Like take an example, I'll give an example, but it's very easy. Try to understand. J.K. Shah sir, he is managing students a particular coaching class, which is the biggest CA coaching class in the world. The biggest. So many students we have in India today, I doubt any other coaching classes would have so many students. The sir makes strategy for the coaching classes for Chennai branch, for all the branches together, right? And then the people in the classes will have to adjust accordingly. That is forward linkages. So he makes strategies and then he gives the strategies to people in the low middle level of management. Then they implement it accordingly. Take the other case, J.K. Shah sir says, I have maximum number of accounts teachers working for me, right? So J.K. sir tells the people preparing the timetable, please do one thing now. First, keep more of accounts lectures, then we'll follow it with other lectures as such. So here one is looking at his implementation capabilities and then formulate strategies. That will be called as backward linkages. Got the point, Aparna? I formulate strategy, I make strategy, I give it to the people, then they follow it forward. I prepare it in my air conditioned cabin. I'm preparing according to what suits me. I'm not considering the structure of the organization because I may not be aware of it. Even if I'm aware of it, I'll do things properly, students. I'm doing the right things. For that, they will have to do the things right and make changes in the structure of the organization. Ulta. I know the structure of the organization and keeping that in mind, I prepare strategy that will be called as backward linkages. It's easy. Forward linkages, students, implementation is completely determined and dependent on formulation of strategy. Katak, समझ में आया? First point, आगे देखो. Many changes are needed in the organization for proper implementation. So, beta, changes will have to be made because we made strategies sitting in the office without having proper idea of how things are being worked out. So see the last sentence, it says the organizational structure has to undergo a change in the light of the requirement of the modified or new strategy. What is backward linkages? I said beta ulta. Here the strategy formulation process is affected by factors related with implementation. While dealing with strategic choice, remember that past strategic actions also determine the choice of strategy. In other words, students, I said, look at your implementation skills and on that basis you formulate strategy. So I consider my implementation capabilities, I know my organization structure, and on that basis I formulate strategy that will be called as backward linkages. See, organizations tend to adopt those strategies which can be implemented with the help of present structural resources combined with some additional efforts. So here, beta, this is something which an organization would prefer. Why it would prefer, tell me? Because they wouldn't have to make much changes in the structure of the organization. Okay, please read that, student. देखो समझ में आएगा. Read that forward and backward linkages. Come on, beta. Let's go ahead. Any doubts over here? So tell me first, formulation and implementation. All of you, formulation means being effective. Implementation means being efficient. Formulation, thinking, intellectual process. Implementation, doing, operational process. For formulation, you need to have good intuitive and analytical skills. Implementation, you need to have good leadership and motivation skills. Pinarasi, agreed, Navida? Leadership and motivation skills. Most important point. Formulation may be a process where number of heads involved will be less. Implementation, number of heads involved will be more. And many other points as well. Abhi, please understand it at this point now. Next question comes. What are the issues in strategy implementation? I'll explain this. This is easy. I know that, beta, but you will have to explain it now. Then, beta, most of the students find it difficult to write this. So, why they find it difficult to write, I'll explain now. Try to understand. See, when I say issues in strategy implementation, I give you a small example. That concept should be clear. You know, beta, I just now said 70% of the CEOs fail not because of poor strategy formulation, but because of poor strategy execution. I said now, when I say they fail, that means there are some particular issues in strategy implementation. There are some issues. One basic issue is what, beta? Formulation is done in an air-conditioned cabin. Implementation is done in the open air. Climatic conditions may be unfavorable. Government policies may not be favorable. And today's time, beta, people with whom you work now, they are also no less than the devils as such. Be very clear. I don't know why today's time people feel that we go up by making others go down. Wrong attitude. Why don't we have a feeling let's all go up in life? My particular country, that tendency has come soon. Anything Modi does, the opposition criticizes. And there is one Pappu, he always says, Chokidar Chor hai. Arre Pappu, tera baap, forget it, I'll not say that. Anyway, now imagine what I wanted to tell is this. A छोटा example, you'll understand the concept. You know, once what happened, and be very clear, this is a true fact what I'm telling you. Huh? But listen, one student, Narendra Modi, said after gaining the post of Prime Ministership, okay, he wants that in India there should be good toilet facilities. Now, when he said there should be good toilet facility, so there are some people they started making fun of him. A toilet, what kind of a prime minister is he? So don't you think that the previous government did not provide even the basic facility of toilet? I could have seen it in that particular way also. One, समझ में आ रहा है? 60 years, beta, 60 years or more than that Congress ruled a country, bloody, they couldn't provide toilets also to the people. So when Modi comes to power, he says, we'll start having toilets in the rural areas, urban areas. Why, beta, I'll tell you. I remember I used to go to Chennai for taking lectures. The Kodambakkam, I used to stay in one of the hotel. I don't remember the name, students. And then, students, when I would get very hungry in the evening, I used to go somewhere near that Sangeeta hotel walking. I found people urinating in the open. So that road which is there, student, people urinate in the open. That dirty smell comes. So if the Prime Minister of the country says, I want that people should have toilet facilities, and he told the companies in India, okay, sir, you have CSR. CSR is what? Corporate social responsibility. So in that CSR, why don't you sponsor toilets in these particular rural as well as urban areas? So Modi started with this. That time the opposition criticized him, what he's talking about toilets. Bekar hai, he's showing his caliber. I could have seen it in another way. At least toilet is the basic necessity, which the previous government did not provide it. He said, I'll provide. Wait, after that, what happened? After that, it happened like this, students. One day, he said, every person in rural area will get a proper gas connection. So they should not make use of stoves. For cooking, stoves nahi use karne ka, they should use gas. So again our Pappu started saying Chokidar chor hai. But Pappu isme chori kya kiya? He's providing the basic necessities. Na? So he started criticizing. Wait, now the answer comes actually. One student, Modi said, I'm going to construct 1 lakh houses for the homeless people in this country. The moment Modi came with this particular announcement, I'll make 1 lakh houses. So our opposition leaders students started saying, Chokidar chor hai. Chokidar means the watchman. Modi calls himself Chokidar. Na? They say Chokidar chor hai, matlab Modi is a chor. Nothing he will do. Abhi imagine. It is so bad, student, a person who holds the highest post in this country, some ordinary person who's not having 45 seats also in the parliament, talks nonsense like that. Galat hai na? Now he started saying, then there are some chamchas of Rahul Gandhi. Those chamchas also start saying, chamchas mean those particular people who follow him as such. They also started criticizing Modi. You know what happened? You will be shocked when I say this once. When Modi said, no, 1 lakh houses I'll construct, in the next day's newspaper, this article came as such. And it was also mentioned by Mr. Amitabh Kant. Now, those who know Amitabh Kant, he is not brother of Amitabh Bachchan. No. He's a much better person, students. Amitabh Kant is the chairman of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog kya hai? If you know, today my country is not having CPC, Central Planning Commission. Planning Commission is being replaced by Niti Aayog. Niti is plans. And the chairman of Niti Aayog is Amitabh Kant. We understand. Modi one day tells 1 lakh houses. Next day, Amitabh Kant is ready with a plan. Plan what plan, sir? Yes. We have made provisions to construct 1 lakh houses. Out of that, 10,000 houses will be in Bihar. 10,000 houses will be in yeah. 10,000 houses will be in Uttar Pradesh, 10,000 will be in Orissa. So like that, students, plan was ready. After plan, most of the time in India, we stop here after making plan. Next day, student Amitabh said, Sir, our program is ready. What program? 10,000 houses are to be constructed now. We have floated a tender. Tender का मतलब बच्चा क्या है? हम लोग ने tender we have given and we have told the people, all those who are ready to construct, come on, 10,000 houses, apply through this tender. Then in 3 weeks' time, students, he said, Sir, tender was accepted. Project was sanctioned. Project was sanctioned to this builder. And that builder comes and says, Sir, we got the project and Modi gave us the finance. That means, student, be very clear. Issue in strategy implementation is what? Many a time the idea is in your brain only. The idea should become a reality. For that, you have to make plans, programs, projects, finance, and one fine day, you call Rahul Gandhi and say, Dekh bhaiya, ye 10,000 houses are ready. If you want, you give the keys of the houses to these poor people so that you'll stop barking at least in future. You got the point? Penarasi. One day you decide I'll do a chartered accountancy course. Beta, that was a good strategy. Then what you are supposed to do, you're supposed to make plan. Plan what? I'll attend lecture every day morning 6:32. Till what time lectures are there? Till 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, I'll take my lunch, I'll sleep, and then 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock, I'll study. So plans. Then you make a program. What program? Today or tomorrow, Jagdish sir's lecture will get over. Though I will start studying SM. Today or tomorrow, some other teacher is there. Her lecture will get over. So I'll start studying that. Then what? I'll start solving the paper. Then what? I'll join the test series. Then what? Then when the final exam comes, I am ready. I will clear the final exam as I've cleared my what test series paper. Then better the sailing becomes smooth. Many a times, I'm sorry to say, sailing is not smooth for the simple reason, students. Plans are there in your mind only. It doesn't come on the paper also. And if plans don't come on paper, the child is never born only. That means that project never takes a concrete shape. Hence, student, it is said first you make plans, programs, projects. I'll put it another way, student, pay attention. Now, don't get me wrong, Bida. I'm your friend. We know each other now for last so many days. India has been ruling by Congress for so many years now. In so many years, when Congress ruled a country, my country's national income they made was $2.2 trillion. Sanya, $2.2 trillion was India's national income for all these years when Congress ruled the country. First part. Modi comes in 2014. First, uncle was busy in making toilets. Why? Because the previous government did not provide toilets also. Then uncle was busy in providing gas connections. Then uncle was busy in making houses. And then obviously he's a politician, he's a very clever person. He was spending money on himself, wearing designer clothes. So all that is fine. Then 2019 he said what? I want to make India a $5 trillion economy. But when a person says like this, now 2.2 is what Congress gave, 65 years. He said in next 15 years, I'll make India $5 trillion. At least once I had a feeling, kya beta feeling, that intent is very good. Once, beta, intent is very good. What intent, bacha? What my country could achieve in 65 years. More than that, here is a person, he says he'll achieve in what years? 15 years. So intention is good. $5 trillion, he says. The moment he said $5 trillion, all the opposition people started saying, hey, pagal, nahi kar sakta hai, nahi kar sakta hai. You know, we are Indians. This is the biggest problem with us. If someone else is progressing, we become very jealous. So it is said Indians are unhappy not because of their own, but because the others are more happy. And we become happy when others are unhappy. Ulta. समझ में आ गया ना what I'm saying? The problem is this. When he said from 2.2 to $5 trillion, all congressmen said चौकीदार चोर है. अरे क्या बोलते हैं रे पागल? Question is how Modi would have achieved $5 trillion he had in his mind. What plan? What plan? Beta, he had said, na, I'll start modernization. I'll develop the agriculture sector. I'll develop human beings, human development, agriculture, modernization. I'll start industrialization in my country. So, beta, these are the plans which were there now. Then for that what? For that he started na Make in India. चालू किया था ना अंकल ने. Made in India. Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is all that, bacha? Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, all that things that he started. He went to France. He gave an order for Rafale planes. You must be knowing. So, bacha, Rafale plane ko then what he said, sir? We'll buy the planes from you, but after that, student used to make planes in our country. So, beta, India till yet used to buy defense equipments. Now, under Modi, we will make defense equipments in our country. And defense equipments, if we make in our country, it will not only get jobs, it will keep our neighbor also silent. Neighbor konsa pagal beta Pakistan. It will also be shut. China will also be feeling, if sometime Modi gets angry, he'll throw all the bombs on us as such. So that also front he was taking care. तो बच्चा plans were there, programs were there. पैसा किधर से आएगा? He wanted to get FDI, FII, and foreign companies are ready to come into our country. Foreign direct investment, foreign institutional investment. All that arrangement was made. But it is said the man proposes, God disposes. Our intentions were good of $5 trillion. This problem of corona came as such, and that put a break. But I told you, bacha, who is a successful person who doesn't repeat his mistakes? Your mistakes was not done by Modi. The environment became against us. Otherwise, bacha, you all know we were going in the right direction. Beta, don't get me wrong. Sensex today's 50,000 points. Sir, every day, last session, I think I was taking your lecture, I don't know which lecture. Today's what, Friday? Today's Sunday, na? But Friday ko Sensex was up by 925 points. Sania, kitna points? 925 points. So, matlab, you should understand, bacha. 1 point Sensex goes up na, crores of rupees investment comes in the country. 1 point. 925 points. So, India, fastest growing country in the world. We are a member of BRIC, you know, na. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Bacha, we are the fastest growing country. So be very clear. Issues are what? Issue is one when the idea remains in your mind only. Beta, in your mind, remember one thing. I've said 100 times to you all, beta. You are supposed to find comfort in your discomfort. ऐसे बोलता था ना, in one position, if you become comfortable, na, then you remain there only, then you will not grow. You have to always be students, what? On the go. Today I'm good. Tomorrow I want to become better. Tomorrow I'm better, I will become the best. If I'm best, I have to become better than the best. And bacha, then I don't have to be best today. I have to remain best till the time I'm there. Steve Jobs used to say, once क्या बोलता था पता है कि my product should be such that 10 years तक my competitor cannot think of coming to this particular point. That is the level of leadership you should attain. Okay, what I'm making today, na, my competitor should not be able to make that for 10 years till now. Imagine, student, what is a net worth of Apple. You know, bacha, it is almost equal to India's national income. सानिया पैसा अगर है तो बच्चा एप्पल का शेयर खरीद लो जिंदगी भर मैंगो खाती रहेगी think properly what I'm saying students what returns it is giving unimaginable come on look here issues in strategy implementation beta with this chart you should be able to understand see first I said strategy formulation you formulated strategy that means you have an idea in your mind. The idea in your mind should be brought in paper. From paper, it should be brought in the ground and it should materialize, isn't it? That is what I said, Navida. See, that idea should be converted into plans. Plans, ka matlab, Aparna, tell me, brought that particular idea from your mind into paper and then make strategies to achieve that plan. Then with a programs and programs. I said what programs I told you all about. We in India started Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, Made in India, and then bit projects. Projects के अंदर you appoint a builder, you construct this dam, you construct this, and with all those things you'll be able to get your dreams realized. So here is one example that is given with a pay attention strategy is to make India number one by 2020. This is asking for too much. But still, we always have to think of bigger targets. To make India number one by 2020, plans, what plans? We have modernization plan, education plan, infrastructure plan. Programs, what programs shouldn't? Research and development, foreign tie-ups. Foreign tie-ups means foreign companies will come and give the money. And projects. Projects is what? Foreign tie-up for constructing ultra-tech modern city like Delhi by 2018. So this is something student the way strategy implementation should be done. And issues will be solved if you are good, efficient in implementing it as such. See, there's one sentence over here that will make you understand students. Issues in strategy implementation. Strategy implementation is not just formulating. A strategist therefore has to bring wide range of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and abilities. The implementation task put to test the strategy's ability to allocate resources, design organizational structure, formulate functional policies, and to provide strategic leadership. Leadership, why, Bida? I said the idea was conceived by people in the boardroom. Now implementation. So leadership is required. Implementing same point students. Projects would also require resources. After resources have been provided, it would be essential to see that a proper organizational structure is designed, systems are installed, functional policies are devised, and various behavioral inputs are provided so that plans may work. And then, bacha, this part is there. You can go through this properly afterwards. Next point, strategic change. Any doubts still here? Chalo bolo. Once Doshi, समझ में आया बेटा? Any doubts? Pay attention. Okay, strategic change. Very important, very, very important. And there are three concepts that we are going to study today, Buddha. Strategic change, strategic control, and strategy audit. Very important, very interesting also, if you take interest. What is strategic change? Pay attention, I'll explain to you something like this. Please listen. How do I start this topic? First, always better the way I'm writing now, if you write it like that, it would make sense to you as well as the examiner. See, how do I start? Can I say like this, change is today the only constant? Am I right? सान्या बराबर है कि नहीं? किधर जा रही है? बैठे रहे चुपचाप. हाँ. Change is the only constant का मतलब, come on, tell me fast, what does it mean? Only one thing is constant in this world, and that is change. So second thing you should remember, you all should remember, things do not get better by chance, Aparna, but things get better by change. Get your point? One particular child gave his inter exam for the first time, he did not clear. He said, I worked hard. Then maybe next time I give the exam, easy paper will come and I'll pass. But he'll never pass. So things don't get better by chance, they get better by change. You have to analyze now what went wrong, why I'm not succeeding. And better till that time, introspection is not done. Most of the time we try to find out reason in the outside world. Actually, the reason is within ourselves. You got the point what I'm saying? It simply means, students, I have the spectacles as such, and I'm washing the glass, and I'm not clearing my vision. कितना अच्छा बोला ना? आंख में कचरा है, and I'm clearing, student, my glasses. How I'll be able to see properly? So please remember, first sentence I said, change is today the only constant. Second thing, those people who don't understand this bacha will not change, not improve, not survive. They'll be thrown away as such. Second, things don't get better by chance. अपने आप कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. On its own, things will improve. Nonsense. On its own, things will not improve. Yeah, be very clear. Things will improve only when you change. And the last thing that I always say like this, okay, every one of us wants a change, but none of us wants to change. Hey, every one of us wants a change, but nobody wants to change. We want change outside. Bloody, you change first yourself. You're getting my point, what I'm saying, students. Now the question comes, why strategic change? Very easy. I'll tell you, pay attention. But a strategic change comes for this reason. Suppose there is a company. In that company, student, the management has made a strategy. Correct? So I said made a strategy means what? They formulated a strategy. After the formulation, they start implementing the strategy. So, but a strategy formulation is done, implementation is done. And then what happens? Khatak. After you've done your formulation and implementation is done accordingly, you are waiting for the, come on, tell me, results. You're waiting for the results, but I'm sorry, you don't get the results. टंटन मतलब क्या? चलो बोलो प्रियवंश, मतलब क्या? There is something wrong. अरे yes ना? There is something wrong. Wrong where? Wrong in either formulation, wrong in either implementation. So, bacha, change will be required when after implementation and after formulation, I'm not able to get the results that I want to achieve. When I'm not able to get the results, students, then there is a need for strategic change. So, in the exam, if a question is asked, if I'm able to get the results, then fine. Then there is no need to change. Am I right? One child gives his exam, student studies very hard, and then student he doesn't clear. It happens. So he tells me, sir, I studied very hard, but I did not clear. So when I saw him studying, he was studying same accounts chapter, which he knew. So there are many times students study what? Same chapter of accounts or FM which they know properly, and they get failed in a particular subject which they don't study. So, but if you don't study economics, if you don't study SM, if you don't study auditing, if you don't study law, then how will you pass in these subjects? You don't have to give only accounts paper. Am I right? Aparna? You have to clear. Hey, beta bolo kya? You have to clear all the papers, huh? So be very clear, bacha. You formulated, you implemented, and you failed. When you fail, there is a need for change. If you change, then there will be a change in your results. Results will not change by chance. Results will change by change. Correct? Now pay attention. See this part. Anything doesn't get better by chance. It gets better only by change. We can note down over there, students, change is the only, come on, constant in today's world. Penarasi, right now, change is the only constant in today's world. I said another point, I said, everyone wants change, but nobody wants to change. Okay, see this paragraph, the changes in the environmental forces often require businesses to make modification in the existing strategies. What it means, many a times you are failing, student, not because of your own problem. Imagine today, students, pay attention over here, listen. In a city like Mumbai, financial capital base of this country, India, last 15 months, there is lockdown only going on. No? Lockdown, shutdown, bloody what people are doing sitting at home. It is so boring. Every day my wife sees I'm sitting at home at one particular place. She also must be feeling that jata hi nahi hai ghar se bahar kabhi. My son would be saying, father is every day at home. So most of the times I will try to correct him, do like this, do like that. He'll say, hey, kit hai. Most of the time, father, dads are like Hitlers at home. Na? They always try to correct you. Do this, sit like this. They must be feeling, kya ghar pe beta hai? Now the lecture also it takes from home. Now, beta, this is not good from a country's point of view. Na? So if there is a friend of mine who has a restaurant is closed. So, bacha, why that particular restaurant is closed? Lockdown. I have a particular company, a shared student with me, which makes ready-made garments. What is the case? Share prices are falling. Profitability is not there. Once tell me, in this pandemic, who will buy new clothes? And wearing new clothes, you expect you and I to conduct lectures? No, we'll wear clothes which are comfortable for us. There is a company student which makes undergarments. वो तो रो रहा है बेचारा, सेल ही नहीं है. Maybe people don't want to buy undergarments, people don't want to buy sports shoe, people don't want to buy formal shoe. Okay, there's a friend of mine student, he has a very big lawn where marriages are conducted. In that lawn, he could accommodate 1,800 to 2,000 people. Now, pay nursery, 2,000 people. How many people are allowed in a wedding today? 50 people. 50 also nahi. Now they say 25 people. तो बच्चा वेडिंग इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो गया? लल ना. 15 months से बच्चा marriages में. What is happening in my country, bacha? Please, many a times change have to be brought about because of changes. Come on, in the environmental factors. So, changes in the environmental forces often require businesses to make modification in the existing strategies and to bring out new strategies. Strategic change is a complex process. It involves a corporate strategy focused on new market, product, service, and new ways of doing business. Any doubts over here? Chalo bolo, all is clear? Now this is important. Steps to initiate strategic change. Very, very important. See what I've written, beta. First, recognize the need for change. Create a shared vision. Institutionalize the change. Pay attention. See, steps to initiate the change. All of you, please listen. Important, interesting, and it should be very clear in your mind. Take this case. One particular company, students, Tata Motors. All of you, pay attention. Tata Motors, bacha, chairman emeritus of Tata Group is, come on, Ratan Tata. Uncle Ratan Tata wanted that people in my country should be able to buy a car for a price of what? Come on, 1 lakh. So, bacha, that 1 lakh car he introduced Nano. Nano students, he said, will make 2,50,000 cars in a year. So I think I told you all, students, they made 2,50,000 cars in 2 years. Total cars made, come on, tell me how many cars made? 5 lakh. At the end of second year, student, what happened? A report came. What report? In the second year, Tata Nano could sell only one car. How many cars? Come on, once. Second year, how many cars were sold? Sania, तूने लिया था? Nano नहीं लिया. You bought this Nano? No. Even I did not buy. So imagine you did not buy, I did not buy, we did not buy. Someone must have bought it. One car. And in the first year, they must have sold around 1,500 cars. Now tell me, please understand. I mean, be very clear. 5 lakh cars made. Out of 5 lakh students, 1,500 cars sold. It was whose idea? Ratan Tata. Who's the chairman of the company? Ratan Tata. And imagine we are all working in the company. You know, when we are all working in the company, one tells me, yes, sir, have you seen Tata Nano on the road? I say, no. One said, even I have not seen. So Aparna comes and says, I will never buy that car. Sanya comes and says, sir, do you know in that particular car, engine is behind. So the moment I sit in that particular car, I get the feeling of sitting in a what? Auto rickshaw. But a car ka engine is in front, na? Penarasi, right now. Here the engine is behind. So the moment Penarasi sits in the car starts vibrating. So you get the feeling you're sitting in auto rickshaw. Horrible. Now imagine this is what people are talking. But the question is, whose idea was Nano? Ratan Tata. Who will tell Ratan Tata? The question is, these people are big people, they have a lot of ego. They many a times feel they are only God. And there are many bosses also like that. They think no end of themselves. I'm sorry to say, with due respect to all these people that they've achieved so much, they feel they cannot go wrong. And Ratan Tata went wrong. Example number one. Now, question is once who has the courage to tell him? There's something they call now, who will bell the cat? Who will tell Ratan Tata, uncle, kya? No one is buying. Uncle, car looks horrible. Uncle, when I sit in this car, the car starts vibrating. Sane bole, uncle, the car looks also horrible. The car is very uncomfortable. No one will be able to tell him. This is the first problem. See, change will come, you know, when these big bosses, when they have taken a decision, they should feel from within, I made a mistake. Hey, come on, right now, one person, students, having a company, United Breweries, a person having a particular company, United Spirits, are doing excellent business, Kingfisher beer, McDowell whiskey, and beta, my country, Chennai, you all know, there are so many people who drink alcohol, students. I was in Chennai, I told you, there's a big queue outside a wine shop. I was wondering why this queue, and that also the day when Karunanidhi died. So people were so happy that they wanted to buy alcohol. Such a big queue. I was also standing in the queue. I thought it is a queue for auto rickshaw as such. There is no. Anyway, United Breweries, United Spirit, best company in India. But bacha, this person's inflated ego, he gave his son, Siddharth Malia, what? 21 planes. Oh my God. So one should say, Papa, मेरा भी 21st birthday पे 21 plane लेके दो मेरे को. अरे क्या करने का? Why the hell? Why you started Kingfisher Airline? And the worst thing, beta, he bought new planes. My country, we buy 20-year-old planes, which Maybe British Airways has used, Lufthansa has used. Then we use for 30 years. Then we give to Pakistan. Then Pakistan will use it for some years as such. Until the time the terrorists blow away that plane as such. Till that time the plane will be used. Now please understand. But Kingfisher Airline was started, company United Breweries, United Spirits got sold. ये पागल इसके साथ में अटका पड़ा है. The first thing I said, what the bosses have inflated ego. One particular businessman student does what? Very simple. He was doing business in India. What business? Making electronic equipments, television, refrigerators, washing machine. He said, I'll generate electricity. अरे पागल बावला हो गया है क्या? Electricity, why? Because there's a lot of money. And who is this person I'm talking about? This person is another Marwadi, V.N. Doot. दूध नहीं है, दूध. दूध कौन सा दूध? सानिया तू पहचानती इसको? वीएन दूध बचा, वेणुगोपाल दूध. He is the one who is the owner of the company. Come on, video call. अभी imagine बच्चा 8,000 crore का loan he takes. 8,000 crore is such a big amount. नेपाल का national income नहीं होएगा इतना. He takes loan of 8,000 rupees to start an electricity generation company. Why? I don't understand. But it is good to progress. But don't you think a successful businessman is one who takes risks, but he takes calculated risks? When I invest money in the share market, I do take risks, but I speculate. I do some study and investment. I don't do gambling. Here, bacha, this was a gamble. What gamble? Kingfisher Airline. What gamble? Videocon student electricity generation. Nano. Nano, beta, imagine a world's biggest automobile company makes small, what? Quantity of cars. And that also with that JIT, just in time principle. Your Nano was 5 lakh cars made. The first thing tell me, I said many a times mistake is by the top bosses. So but a change will not come unless and until what come and tell me, they recognize the need for change. Am I right? See, I'll tell you, don't get me wrong now. Sometimes your parents tell something, your dad is very angry. He comes and says something, which according to his time may be right. But now time has changed now. So that may not be right. Getting my point? Maybe, I'll tell you like this. Today's time, if you tell a girl 22, 23 years of age to get married, the girl will say, Papa, mane CA karwanu do. Let me become a chartered accountant. Then Marwadi would say, if you become a chartered accountant, then Marwadi boys are not that qualified. So we don't get boys like that. Girl is a CA. But that doesn't mean the girl should not get educated now. So many a time the mistake was made by, come on, tell me, people at the top level. So they should have what? The recognition of the need to change. That is the first point. Please pay attention. Steps to initiate change. Recognize the need for change. Please remember, give that example. Ratan Tata, Nano, and then students made a mistake. What is the example I said, students? क्या बोला उसका नाम? V.N. Dhoo, Vijay Mallya. Please remember, Vijay Mallya ने क्या चालू कर दिया? Kingfisher Airline. Am I right? Bolo. Understanding now? Abhi pay attention. See, recognize the need for changes, do environmental scanning. Environmental scanning matlab find out now why my strategy is not becoming successful. So beta, ask the people. Ratan Tata asked his people, will you buy a nano car? Sir, I will not buy. Oh my God. So problem is if my internal customers will not buy, how will I be able able to create external customers, isn't it? So do SWOT analysis and find out where the lacuna lies and scope of change exists. Lacuna lies means where the problem is and where I can bring the changes. The second point is very important. Second point, they say create a shared vision to manage change. Listen, boys and girls, 1 year in the exam, they'd ask the 2 more questions. What do you mean by vision shared? And what do you mean by shared vision? Okay, listen, it's very easy. I'll put it like this, students. Take this example. Try to think of like this. Ratan Tata, 5 lakh cars, 1,500 cars are only sold. It was his idea. We should make a car for 1 lakh rupees. And then Mamata Banerjee problem happened, all that nonsense happened. Wait. After 2 years, student, when Ratan Tata saw the report that I couldn't sell even 10,000 cars, he realized, come on, the first point, need for change. Second thing is what? He calls a meeting of all the functional managers. Now, Ratan Tata knows what? Shape of the car was not good. Looks not good, engine not good. Same thing, student, people don't want to buy a car and then be labeled as poor man. Because that 1 lakh car was called to be a poor man's car. Our country ka poor man also doesn't like to be called as poor man. With all those thinking in mind, imagine I'm Ratan Tata. I know these problems are there. I know. Okay, now what I should do, I should make a car which is looking better, where the engine is in front. At the same time, I don't mind if the car is a bit expensive, people will buy. I call a meeting of everyone. Now, when I just said that, when I call a meeting of everyone, first thing I'll have to do is what? I'll have to tell. I made a mistake. It was my mistake. I thought people will buy a small car, but I'm sorry. Now, beta, I throw the ball in your court. Throw the ball in your court ka matlab kya? I will tell the functional manager, you tell what we should do now. When I tell you tell what to do now, that is shared vision. But then, I made a mistake first, and then I come with another vision. That is vision shared. Kya farak hai? What's the difference I said? Imagine I am Ratan Tata, I made a mistake first. Now I'm coming again, second time, and I'm saying this is what we should do. That is vision share. Now, beta, people will not appreciate that. I would be good enough to tell people, tell me what we should do. So employees would say, sir, see, this car that we gave now was not good looking. The engine was behind. Looks were horrible. Performance was not good. We'll make another car. Now imagine when they say, no, we'll make another car. I, as Ratan Tata, was also thinking like that only. I was also thinking like that. So, when I was thinking like that, I did not impose my vision on them. I accepted their vision. And they feel what? They feel good. Our boss is listening to us also. And boss is not working as a dictator. Boss is working as our member. The difference is what? Vision shared mein Ratan Tata comes and gives his vision. Shared vision mein Ratan Tata comes and, come on, jaldi bolo, accepts our vision. Yaad rahega. Chalo bolo, which is better? Which is better, bacha? Second one is better, shared vision. First, what he had done, first he had vision shared. That means first time when he said, no, I want to make 1 lakh car, that was vision shared. Vision shared has failed. That is why now, come on, it is shared vision. And last point, institutionalize the change. Boys and girls, pay attention. What is institutionalize the change? Very easy. Ratan Tata in this particular group has said, now what? Where is he? Has said, sir, we need to make a new car. So engineers were ready, sir. We have a particular car in a mind. Okay, what is a new car? The new car, sir, I think we should be calling it as Tiago. The new car should be called as Tigor. The Tiago and Tigor car design was made, approved, and since that day, no one is talking about Nano. Tiago, Tigor in that same plant, these two cars were made, and now they're trying to improve Tiago and Tigor. That is institutionalize the change. So now the new change has become student order of the day. Please read these 3 points fast. Steps to initiate strategic change. Wait. हाँ, ये कुछ कितनी है क्या वीडियो Lacuna beta means problem, where the problem lies. What is the meaning of this sentence? Strategy implementers have to convince all those concerned that the change in business culture is not superficial or cosmetic. Meaning what? Now that we are going away from Nano to Tiago and Tigor, this is not superficial or cosmetic. This is actually what will be done now. Got the point? Any doubts there? See, this I could have explained with the other example also, beta. Please be very clear. First, let's understand my एक मिनट I'll start. Pinarasi, beta. Let's start once to know. When I said na recognize the need for change, you know what is the basic idea? I wanted to give an example of these businessmen. Sometimes student businessmen ideas work because they have worked in the past, they feel it will always work in future also. Not necessarily. But many a times it doesn't work not because they are inefficient, but because some changes have happened in the environment and they have no control over these changes. Come on, Vansh, give an example. Some changes have happened and they have no control over this particular change. Example is like this: suppose one person starts a particular business. Now, pay attention, he has a coaching classes. So coaching classes, bacha expansion was done. It was doing excellent. And now he starts a coaching class students in the month of March in 2020. And what government has come with the rule, tell me, all schools coaching classes will be closed. So, but here it doesn't mean that the person was inefficient. External changes have happened. And be very clear, if things like this are happening, then why the hell should we continue with that particular thing? Better stop it. No? So first thing, big bosses have to understand at times the mistakes that they have committed. Because the problem is, No one has the courage to tell them, okay, sir, this is wrong that you have done. And many a time they don't listen also as such. So I said, recognize the need, create a shared vision, institutionalize the change. Now, this is another question that can be asked. What is Kurt Lewin change management process? This is very easy. I'll explain to you. Pay attention. See how you're supposed to understand and explain this. Kurt Lewin's change management process. Please pay attention. Lakshay, idhar dekho beta. Kavya, are you understanding everything? Lakshay, video ko band karta rahe. Chalo, Yash Kothari, Someshwara, all well. Let's take one example. Kurt Lewin's change management process. All of you listen. Binita, मारवाड़ी मुंह ऊपर कर, तो चेहरा नहीं दिख रहा है. हाँ, सुनो ध्यान से. ऊपर कर, ऊपर ऊपर. हाँ, Shri Prasanna, pay attention. One small example I'll share with you. You'll understand this properly. Understand what Kurt Lewin says? Please be very clear. But Kurt Lewin says that change mein na, there are 3 steps that are needed. First is unfreeze. Next is change. And last is refreeze. अभी यश कोठारी ध्यान से सुन, तेरा एग्जांपल लेता हूं, देखो समझ में आना चाहिए. हाँ, unfreeze, change and refreeze. Beta, all of you listen, this is important. Huh? See, first thing I said, I've formulated, I've implemented, and I'm not getting the results. If I'm not getting the result, then I need a change. So Kurt Lewin's model of change says how to bring change: first unfreeze, then change, and then refreeze. So I'll put it in a simple example first, then I'll relate it with business. Imagine one of you, student, dad comes home in the night very tired. So Yash, daddy क्या बोलते? Yash, get for me one glass. Get that bottle and get for me ice cubes. ठीक है? अफरा सुन रही है ना? डैडी ने क्या लाने के बोला? ग्लास बोला, बॉटल बोला और आइस बोला. अब यश आइस लेके आया. तो बेटा आइस when he brings ना, imagine that is in that particular tray. So there is this particular kind of square ice cubes which are there. He picks up that particular one plastic lid. So that square ice cubes come out. तो यश डैडी क्या बोलते? मेरे को स्क्वायर वाला आइस क्यूब नहीं चाहिए. I don't want square ice cubes. I want circular ice cubes. अभी लफड़ा है. Now Yash Kothari is thinking, Papa, अभी कैसे करूं मैं? How to do? So Yash says what? He takes a particular, let us say, a spoon or a knife, and he starts cutting that square to make it circular. Is it possible? Yash, bol, Marwadi, kaise possible hai? By that time, bacha, what will happen? This particular square, if you try to make it circular, it will melt into water, na? अरे हाँ ना. तो बच्चा, if it melts into water, दिशा जैन इधर सुन बेटा, तेरा earphone तेरे से भारी लग रहा ज्यादा. हाँ, तो आपके पास square है, you have to make it circular. Now imagine if you want to make it into circular shape, what you'll have to do, you'll have to unfreeze. Unfreeze का मतलब क्या? This particular water which is there ना, you have to first melt that square into water, change, put that water into this particular circular ice cubes, and next day when that comes, take 2 glass, sit with him. 1 glass you to put what? Pepsi and ice, and give that what he wants in that circular cube. तो बच्चा circular cube को क्या करेगा? दिशा जैन जल्दी बोलो. इसको refreeze करेंगे. Refreeze करेंगे कब तक? When it doesn't take the shape of that particular circular cube. So beta, please understand, what I actually wanted to explain is, Kurt Lewin says, understand, when people come to work in a company, na, They come to work with a particular set of culture, with a particular set of thinking. So in their mind, students, something is written like it's written in this piece of paper. Now, if you start writing on that again, then what will happen? There will be chaos, confusion as such. तो वंश क्या करना पड़ेगा हमको इसमें बेटा? अनफ्रीज का मतलब क्या? ये जो सब लिखा है ना, ये सबको क्या करना पड़ेगा? कमांडल में इरेज करना पड़ेगा. And then start afresh. Erase में क्या होगा? चल चल fast boys and girls tell me. Erase में क्या हो जाएगा? Erase में ये हो जाएगा. Now if you write something, everything will be evident properly. So what it says, unfreeze का मतलब, when people come to work, they have something in their mind, and their mind is something like this. They are working properly. Why they are working properly? Because this is what we feed it first, and with this information they are working. Now, because there are changes that are coming in the environment, I want to give them new set of rules, regulations. So, bacha, this particular rules, regulations have to be done away, na? So, I'll have to unfreeze, make it a clean slate. Now, give a set of new rules and regulation, a new culture that they have to form, change, and then ensure that the change culture becomes the proper culture. So three things. Come on fast. Unfreeze, change, and refreeze. Look here. Pay attention. Change management process. What it says to make changes permanent. Make changes. This is important. Make changes permanent. I said. Till what time you have to refreeze? Till that time, shouldn't it becomes proper ice. It does not take in the proper shape. So see. Chalo chalo. Pay attention. Hey. Sorry. To make changes permanent, Kurt Lewin has proposed three phases of the change process for moving the organization from the present to the future. The stages are what? Unfreeze, changing, and refreezing. Now pay attention. Unfreezing the situation. Unfreezing, please remember, unfreezing ka matlab, bacha, take an example what I told you now. Dad wants circular cube mein ice. You have square cube. So what you'll have to do, unfreeze like that. Abhi dekho idhar kya likha? Individuals or organizations. Time pass. Second one is interest. Changes should not come as a surprise to the members of the organization. That means when you are bringing a change, so Sanya should not say, "Sir, first you told this, now you are telling like this. I will not work like that." Bola, nahi beta. First, we used to do that, and with that, we never achieved the results. Now, if I want to achieve the results, then this change has to be brought about. And this change has to be brought about, has to be conveyed to her before only. She should only say, yes, sir, we should bring the change. Why? Because we are not able to achieve our objectives. So Ratan Tata comes and tells a person, you don't make an engine like this. He said, no, I'll make this engine. मारेगा कान के नीचे. Why? साला गाड़ी कोई खरीदता नहीं है. तू engine किधर डालेगा ये? फिर घर पे लेके जाएगा. You got the point what I'm saying? So if one person is adamant, I'll make this nano car ka body only. So Ratan Tata, then that body I'll put on you. Pagal, this body no one is buying, na. So be very clear. If suppose we all are working in an organization, beta, and the product is not doing good, so you must be talking amongst yourself also. The product is not good. There's a need for change. And when I tell you to change, you say, no, you never told me first. There are some people like that, ना mad राहुल गांधी के जैसा पहले क्यों नहीं बोला? अरे पागल पहले क्यों नहीं बोला? तेरा अक्ल दिमाग नहीं काम करता है क्या? Sometimes when you don't get the result, you get the feeling from inside. Na, we have to change. So please, people should be first involved in the change process. Let everyone be aware. Can see we are bringing some particular changes. Then, unfreezing is the process of breaking down the old attitudes, attack, and behavior, customs and traditions, so that they start with a clean slate. Understood? So that they start with a clean slate. And this can be achieved by making announcements, holding meetings, and promoting the idea. No. Correct. Bolo, ha, understood my point. So, beta, be very clear. Remember one thing. If you don't change with the change in time, your process don't change with the change in time, students, then I'm sorry, you'll be thrown away from the market. Please remember, when अभी आपको बोला ना, change is the only constant. And I'll tell you, students, when I'm taking lecture with you, I think 95% of the time I talk in English only because some students don't understand Hindi. When I take lecture in Gujarat, I talk in English, they start staring at me. Kya bolta hai re? So I have to talk in Hindi. So imagine we have to change with the changing time, beta. And if I don't change, then imagine in your lecture I keep on talking Hindi. Then some student will say, forget, we don't like this teacher. So beta, if I want to do good, I have to adapt myself now. It's as simple as that. Then change to new situation. This is very interesting. Change to new situation can be brought with compliance, identification, internalization. Take a concrete example. All of you listen up, please. Now I'll give an example with which things will become easy. Suppose there is a bank. In a bank, you have very big particular branch. 100 people are working over there. Some particular uncle are writing what ledger. Some aunties are writing cash book. Some people are writing petty cash book. Some are preparing that balance sheet. Now we imagine 100 people are working. One particular 3-4 aunties are doing what? They are giving token. 2-3 people are there, they are giving cash to their cashiers. 2-3 aunties are there, they're checking the signature on check with the signature on specimen signature card. Imagine this kind of setup is there. Understand? Vansh is the owner of the bank. When Vansh comes, everyone says, good morning, sir, good morning, sir. Inside, he is feeling so bad. Kya good morning? What is good about the morning? 100 people are working. What uncle is doing writing ledger? What auntie is doing writing cash book? What this old lady is doing petty cash book? He is wondering now why we are doing all this. And then he realizes there are 5 people over here working on computer and they're doing all the work with the other 95 people are doing. Hey, समझ में आ रहा है? तो बच्चे किधर ना somewhere you get the feeling ना, my God, 100 people I have to employ. Such a big place I need to have to accommodate these people. I have to give them salary. I have to arrange for the air condition for them. Then these old people, bloody, they'll come. They want to have a cup of tea that the bank should provide. They want to have cold water that bank should provide. Then, bacha, they want holidays. That also bank should pay the salary for. Everything bank should pay. And what they are doing, writing ledger. And then you are asked the uncle, at the end of the year, what do you do with the ledger? Uncle says, ledger actually, then no one wants it. I throw it into the dustbin. Aparna, now we should throw that uncle in the dustbin. Na? Eh? Kya zaroot hai iska? Understand? So what Apna one says, I want what? Computerization. So first thing, see, this is what we said now. First thing is unfreeze the situation. Unfreeze the situation. You know ledger, keep it to yourself. You know cash book, keep it. I want computerization. Now, bacha, the moment he says computerization, he tells people to learn computers. When he's telling the people to what? Come on, tell me. He's telling the people to what? Change to new situation. Bolo re, na. Now, 100 people are working, and if every 100 person starts learning computer, we are Indians, beta. The moment a person becomes 50 plus, he is not ready to change. You know? They become very arrogant. They become students. They start feeling hum Bhagwan hai. You know? They start feeling students that we are superior. I can write ledger so well. Are idiot? No one wants you to write ledger today. No one wants you to write cash book because everything computer. So bank will tell what, uncle, please start learning computers. Slowly and steadily, some people would say we cannot do. So okay, bye bye, get lost, old man. VRS will give it to you. VRS matlab kya? Voluntary retirement scheme. Some people will act smart. I know Stalin, get lost, man. I'll give you CRS. CRS is what? Compulsory retirement scheme. दुआओं में याद रखना, get lost नहीं चाहिए. सब होगा. Now 50 people have left. So imagine for me, for the banker's one's point of view, such a big place is not needed, a small place is needed. The rent will be saved. Next, student, rent will be saved. That is one thing. Less people, the salary bill will be saved. AC is not required, so much electricity bill will be saved. Then, bacha, those 50 people, mein some people are coming and they don't know properly. But they still come, they have not left the job. So then one will say, compliance. Compliance, he'll force them. Hey, Buddha, seek ke aao. Buddy, seek ke aao. Learn computer. If you don't learn, I'm sorry. Old people, your friends have gone now. I'll give you also VRS, CRS. So see, compliance. With change may, it is achieved by strictly enforcing the reward and punishment strategy for good or bad behavior. Then beta identification. Identification mein what will happen? Imagine 50 people are there. Out of the 20 people are doing the work properly. Hey, suno, 50 are left, 20 are doing the work properly. Out of the 20, one is doing best. So I'll put his photograph, employee of the month, and his photograph is there. I give him a particular prize. I give him appreciation. So, bacha, when I give appreciation, the other will say, "Arey, ye pagal, ye." Chalo, we'll also do. So everyone will start working properly. And bacha, when I start identifying the best, everyone will try to become the best. And if everyone try to become the best student, then those people who can't come to that level, they'll leave. And then, bacha, the best people I have with me, internalization. Once that internalization is there, then refreeze. Refreeze means what? Now, tell them, henceforth, don't talk of ledger, cash book, petty cash book, specimen signature card. Now talk of Windows, MS Office, and how to do computerized accounting. So refreezing means, students, adapting yourself to the new situation that has come. Okay, tally, yes. And best students, when I have people like that, what I'll be able to do, I'll be able to do the work faster, better, with less number of people as such. Cut that. Refreezing. Please go through this, all students. Kurt Lewin change management process. See the conclusion part, beta. Polo. Chalo, pay attention. See, the last conclusion part is very interesting, but what it says, change process is not a one-time application. Come on, tell me, क्या मतलब इसका बच्चा? It's not that you've changed once, that's forever. No. Today's world is dynamic world. I said, na, we take a bath every day. So as we take a bath every day, we have to become a better person every day. So if I'm doing goods better today, I have to become best in that. and every day I have to better my skills. One example I can share with you, bacha. One particular company was making petrol cars. चलो सानिया, पेट्रोल कार से क्या बनाया, फिर डीजल कार्स, डीजल कार से क्या बनाया, एलपीजी, एलपीजी से क्या बनाया, सीएनजी, सीएनजी से क्या हुआ, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल कार, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल कार बच्चा. Yesterday I saw one Wagoner car, electric vehicle, Wagoner car, bigger car, good. When I asked these people, they said, sir, in one charge, it will run for 200 kilometers. That's good, na? And how much charging would cost? They said some 300 rupees. So, beta, it will become so cheaper. Eh, Sanya, right now, घर के सब लोगों को एक गाड़ी गाड़ी लेके देंगे, है ना? 200 rupees, 300 rupees में it will run for 200 kilometers is so good. Then, bacha, what will happen in some time, if I am happy at 200 kilometers, then wrong, na, beta. I was told that Mahindra is coming with a particular electric car where in one charge you can move for 350 kilometers. Woo! So 350 kilometers is good now once. So I'll prefer 350. Then one day one particular company would say, sir, 200 kilometers you'll be able to run and charge in 20 minutes. Mahindra says 20 minutes with 350 kilometers. Then one particular company says you can go up to 500 kilometers and charging will take 20 minutes. That will be better. Then one day one particular company comes and says, "Arey, wait man, my car so don't charge only, put a solar roof on the car. And solar roof dalo, then solar roof mein the car will get self-charged." Then Sanya will say, I want a particular window also over here so that I come out of the car as such. होता है ना, तो बच्चे इसको बाहर आने के लिए छोटा सा एक विंडो भी बनाना पड़ेगा. Then there will be a car besides the solar panel, besides a window also. Please, these kind of innovations are part and parcel of your life. Today, beta, we used to take this laptop, and with the laptop, sir provided this pen tab where I would take the lecture. Now my son is telling, Baba, why to take the pen tab? Take that particular stylus pen. Stylus pen kuch aata hai na? And with the stylus pen, you can write on the laptop only as such. So pen tab, you did not take it separately. So new better things are coming now. There was a color TV, there was LCD, LED, now curved TV. Tomorrow some other TV will come. So when you will stop in making changes, bacha, the moment you stop, your downfall starts. महाराष्ट्र में व्हील से विसर्जन चालू हो जाएगा. विसर्जन, यू अंडरस्टैंड ना? गणपति का विसर्जन होते, गणपति आइडल का विसर्जन करते थे. द मोमेंट यू स्टॉप चेंजिंग, your downfall will start as such. So please change. nahi. Any doubts over here? Tell me, strategy change clear hai beta? Acha, who should recognize the need for change? Tell me first. Who should recognize, the worker, the manager, or the bosses? The bosses should recognize. Problem with bosses is, student, they have inflated egos. They get a feeling at times apuni bhagwan hai. अपनी भगवान है, मतलब यानी सही ना, उनको ऐसे लगता है कभी कभी वी आर ओनली गॉड बिकॉज दे हैव सम मनी. चलो नेक्स्ट, स्ट्रैटेजिक कंट्रोल. स्ट्रैटेजिक कंट्रोल के अंदर बेटा ऑपरेशन कंट्रोल, सी दिस इज मैनेजमेंट कंट्रोल एंड टाइप्स ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजिक कंट्रोल. इसमें प्रीमाइस कंट्रोल, स्ट्रैटेजिक सर्विलेंस, special alert control, and you have implementation control. That two things. चलो ये आता है मेरे को. I'll explain this. Very easy, but very important. Very very important. See, first of all, control. What is control? In very simple words, students, control means looking back. अच्छा, 2 minutes का break, 2 minutes का break, 2 minutes only, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. मारोड़ी खा ले. सानिया क्या खा रही है सुबह सुबह? हाँ, only 2 minutes का break. Come on, children, let's start. Sumeshwara, welcome. Chalo beta, pay attention. See, control. Understand? Huh? This is interesting. Maja aega. The first question is, what do you mean by control? We say control is a management function which means to look back. The question is, why we have to look back? We have to look back because we are not able to achieve our targets. We are not able to achieve our objectives. Now understand, students, how the process works. Pay attention. Let us say our friend Someshwar says, sir, I have done strategy formulation. So beta, he has made strategies. On the basis of strategy formulation, he says we are implementing. So as formulated, implementation is being done. And I'm going in the right direction. Now understand. So formulation is done, implementation is being done. Someshwar says, sir, I am at point A. And I want to reach here at point D. So at point A, he first made formulation of strategy. He implemented the strategy. And beta, he wants to come to point D. Now very easy. If he reaches at point D, then there is no need to control. Why? There is no need for bringing any change as such because he's achieved what he wanted to achieve. If you have surpassed D, let us say he's come to point E, so it is better, then also there is no problem. Problem is, bacha, when he comes to point B. He is not able to reach to point D. So please, my dear students, when I say strategic control, I mean looking back. Looking back at what? Looking back where I was, where I wanted to go, and where I have reached. So when you are not able to reach where you wanted to reach, then the question is, we have to bring strategic control. We have to look back and find out where we are wrong, where we are going wrong. But where we are going wrong, I mean, I'll put it like this. Understand, every family may this found, something goes wrong. So always, student, in a family, in a country, in a particular organization, a person who is in a lower status, he is held responsible for the problem. In the sense, we always do like this. Chalo, I'll take a small other example. Apna that example, I said Yash Kothari. Yash Kothari brings a particular glass and gives to his dad. His dad drinks what he wants to drink, and by the time his dad is taking the glass student to the kitchen, the glass falls and breaks down. Oh, the glass breaks down now. Immediately, most of the time, what will happen is dad would say, Yash has done that. Yash बोला पापा मैंने किधर किया? Reason क्यों? घर में मेन कोठारी है ना मम्मी. मम्मी तो काली माता बन जाएगी ना, चिल्लाएगी. अरे क्यों? अभी इमेजिन करो यश ने गिराया कि नहीं गिराया वो पता नहीं, but Yash will be held responsible. If Yash had a smaller brother na, Chota Yash, so Yash would have thrown the burden on Chota Yash कि यार इसने किया. The problem is this, Be very clear. We make strategy, we implement strategy, beta, but when we don't get the targets that we want, na, then a person who's in a very, very small, weak position, who has nothing to lose, we held him responsible. That is wrong, Aparna. That is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because यश ने तो कुछ पिया भी नहीं बेचारा. छोटा यश तो देखने को भी नहीं आया था. He was busy playing PUBG. पापा ने ग्लास गिराया और मम्मी के सामने किसने तोड़ा? यश ने तोड़ा. यश को तो मम्मी तोड़ेगी अभी पकड़ के. Think of it, students. This is what happens in an organization. When an organization fails to achieve the targets, then beta it happens. All responsibility falls on the functional level people. But that's wrong. Why? Because functional level people said, sir, we did what business level told us to do. Maybe you did not predicted things properly. Business level will say, no, why where we went wrong? We did what the corporate people told us to do. So beta, we remember, always remember, if success is not because of one person or one department or one particular level of management. It's not because of one level of management. So failure is also not because of one level of management. Here, come on, tell me, all levels will be involved. Sanya, understanding? तो बेटा इसका simple मतलब है strategic control is to look back. Looking back will make sense when I'm not able to achieve my targets. Looking back and I'm not able to achieve my targets, so who should be held responsible? Responsible should not be thrown on the lower cadre of people as such. Because students, they have nothing to lose. Right now, as it is, we are not paying them much salary. If it happens, students, I said in the example, Yash Kothari, का example जो दिया उससे समझ में आएगा कि sometimes student poor people who have nothing, who have done nothing wrong, we hold them responsible. तो नहीं, every person in the organization wants what to be held responsible for the success now. So here, bacha, everyone would be responsible for the losses that happen in the company. So your control may we will be studying control. Come on, tell me, control at what level? Someshwara, corporate level, business level, and functional level. समझ में आ रहा है? Sanya, understanding? Vansh, beta, understanding ना? चलो, pay attention this point. Okay. Yeah. Strategic control. See, strategic control focuses on the dual question whether strategy is being implemented as planned and the results produced by the strategy are those intended. So my dear students, please note down this example which I said. I formulated a strategy, I implemented a strategy, I was at point A, I want to go to point D. Implementation is proper or not, we'll come to know. If I'm not able to reach at point D, I reach only at point B. So if I've reached at point D, no need to control. If I've surpassed point D, no need to control. Problem is what? When I don't reach. So bacha, what is the idea behind it? The strategy is being implemented as planned. Are we working in the same manner? Are the results produced by the strategy are those intended? Now see, primarily, there are three types of organizational control: operational control, management control, and strategic control. So beta, three levels of management. Now functional level will do what control? Come on, operational control. Come on, management level will do what control? Management control. And corporate level will do what control? Come on, strategic control. Again, is this clear? Abhi, please listen. Always I feel, you know, in a family, students, where the roots are strong, family progresses. So most of the success student, if it is because of the big bosses, many organization big bosses face the brunt also, and they're ready to say, accepting mistakes. But I told you just now today 10 times, a failure is not a person who doesn't make mistakes, but who doesn't repeats the mistake. So good corporate level management is one who will be ready to accept the mistake. So I generally explain student first instead of operational control, ये छोटा level है ना, शाम को, not management control. We will first study students strategic control. Strategic control is the control that is needed by what, tell me, corporate level. Now first point I've written is premise control. Premise control, strategic surveillance, special alert control, and last point this is implementation control. In that, monitoring strategic first and milestone. Now in the exam student, they've asked many times this question for 5 marks. Only this question, strategic control. So first thing all of you would write, what students, listen pay. Strategic control is the control which is required by people at the top level. Now, what kind of control they have to do? Premise control. I'll give you an example, pay attention. See, premise. Please understand, beta. First thing you should know the meaning of the term premise. Premise basically means assumptions. Premise means what? Assumptions. So please remember, Someshwar is the boss of the company. So beta, when he, and let's be very clear, beta, all of us should be very clear at this point of time, no one will make strategy to fail. We have failed, that is a different thing. But we have started this organization on such a small scale. We wanted to grow, become big. So Ratan Tata wouldn't have started Nano with the intention that it should fail. It went wrong, students. Everything went wrong. Right now? So why it went wrong is that we have to study. The example I was trying to give you is Someshwar starts a business, and he starts a business with some assumptions. Mind you, beta, if those assumptions are valid, then from point A, he would have reached to point D. But the problem is the assumptions that he had made did not stood true till that point of time. So those assumptions which we had made, those assumptions were not there. And that is why things went wrong. Example number 1, pay attention. First example, one particular company, students making ready-made garments. Every year they say our sales increases by 10%. So bacha, every year the sale increases by 10% and the financial year is 1st of January to 31st of December. Please understand, it's very easy. So bacha, 1st of December, January 31st of December is the financial year. So in the year 2020, what they had estimated, come on tell me, okay, sir, population will increase. That is obviously. People's income will increase, obviously. So they expected what? Our sale of ready-made garments will also increase by 10%. So there were some assumptions made now. What assumption was made? First assumption was made, population will increase. It increased. Then assumption was made that income of the people will increase. That also increased. Then it was assumed that people will need to go to the office. Oh my God, people were supposed to go to the office, but here the offices are closed. So tell me now, understand, huh? Now, beta, offices are closed. People are not going to work. Last 1 year, 15 months, lockdown is there. So, in that situation, Someshwar tells his salesman, Pagal, you're not selling the goods properly. Is it right? Tell me. Beta, wrong, na? Why wrong? What is the problem with the salesman? Salesman is right, beta. People first had no work to go to the office and now their income also is not increasing. So beta now money also they are not getting. Office also they are not supposed to go. And if they had some income and one of the family member got infected because of corona, all the money has gone in that particular medicine. So where will be the demand for ready-made garments? So please understand, premise control, meaning what? I made a strategy on the basis of some assumption, and those assumptions don't remain valid, strategy will fail. So first, why strategy is failing, beta? Because my assumptions are not withholding that as such. Ratan Tata, pay attention one last time. Ratan Tata is coming in an example, students. Ratan Tata had thought people will buy a car of 1 lakh rupees. And beta, people would have bought the car. I said today morning, I said, Navita, you need to be effective, you need to be efficient. Ratan Tata's intention was that people should get a car, and for that, he started his plant in Singur in that year. But the problem is Mamta Banerjee, this old lady, what she did not allow him to start the factory at Singur. I mean, imagine, student, Ratan Tata, Tata Group, net worth of the company, is the only Indian company with a net worth of $100 billion. You look at Mamta Banerjee, Sanya usko kabhi dekho, she walks wearing toilet slippers. अभी Ratan Tata क्या उससे लड़ेगा? What he'll fight with her? We have our stature ना बेटा. My parents used to say ना, कीचड़ पे पत्थर मत फेंको. You understand the point? Kitchen is the dirt, ना नीचे कचरा पड़ा है, उस पे पत्थर फेंकेंगे. You throw stones at that, it will come on you only, na. So, बच्चा Ratan Tata, what he did, he started the factory. Mamta Banerjee filed a case against him, and then 3 years they kept on fighting. 3 years में बच्चा Ratan Tata was not able to bring a particular nano, but Alto came in the market, small car. Then bacha Hyundai company came with the Eon, Chevrolet company came with the Beat, and these were all small cars. Substitute of what? Come and tell me. Nano, Tantadan. Then bacha, when Nano came after 3 years, first problem that happened was they had to shift the plant from West Bengal to Gujarat. Shifting cost was 300 crores. Machines had become outdated. And bacha, by that time when the car Nano came, already people had other options. Ratan Tata had thought this kind of a car only we will make and sell. But bacha, already the cars were there, the strategy failed. Be very clear, bacha. First is don't let the salesman feel, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to sell. I have a friend of mine, he's the CEO of a very big company. Huh? So I think day before yesterday he met me and he was telling me, Girish, I'm not able to sell. CEO of a construction company, Kalpatru. He said, Girish, I'm not able to sell even 20% of the property that I'm supposed to sell. Why? So paisa hi nahi hai, people don't have money. And if people don't have money, bacha, today people don't have money to buy food to eat. Where they'll get the second meal from, that's a big question. In this point of time, bacha, imagine, will someone buy a flat? So he said, Girish, I would have sold 10,000 flats by this time. This year I've sold only 2,200 flats. So should I shout at the salesman for not selling the property? Right. What went wrong? everything would have been normal had people been working, earning money. Then I would have been able to sell. Na? Then you can question me. He said, my boss also doesn't question me today. You know why? Because boss knows situation is wrong. The first point, better remember, premise control. Premise control means you made a particular strategy with some assumptions. Ensure whether those assumptions are still holding or not. If not, then how will you succeed? See this point, beta, please understand. Premise control. A strategy is formed on certain assumptions, correct, or premises about the complex and turbulent organizational environment. Over a period of time, these premises may not remain valid. Huh? I thought, what did I thought? Population will increase, income will increase, people will go to the office, demand will increase. But neither of these things happened. Okay, so premise control is a tool for systematic and continuous monitoring of the environment to verify the validity and accuracy of the premise on which the strategy has been built. But many a time strategy fails because the assumptions with which you make the strategy are not withholding as such. It involves monitoring environment and industry factors, micro, macro. I mean, this is most important. It is neither feasible nor desirable to control all types of premises in the same manner. Meaning what, beta? Imagine pandemic is going on. When pandemic is going on, bacha, what can you do? Your Modi comes one fine day and say, "Mitro, bartan bajao," ta 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 ta, सब मारवाड़ी लोग बर्तन बजाने लग गए. एक दिन आके बोलता है दिया लगाओ, दिया लगाया. एक दिन अपना एंटीना बढ़ा दिया इतना बड़ा, मास्क लगाओ. One mask I put, I feel so difficult, students, to walk on the road. To go for a walk, it's so difficult. My wife was telling me yesterday, you please put two masks and go. बोला मर जाएगा रास्ते मेरे. Two masks क्या? All this is happening today. Acha, can I control these things? I can't control these things. One fine day, imagine students, Corona mein, there are people dying. How can I tell them कि नहीं नहीं मेरा शादी का हॉल है, I have an auditorium for marriage, please get married. अरे पागल, घर में मर गया कोई आदमी, शादी कैसे करेगा? My friend has a particular auditorium where he can accommodate 1,500, 2,000 people. Now marriage is with 50 people, 50 minutes. 25 people are coming. 25 people are coming, bacha, then where do I keep the 2,000 people का auditorium? शादी क्या करेगा? बचाएगा. 50 people come, student. Chief Minister will then come and say, pay fine. Imagine. Are these things in my control? These things are not in my control. So please, don't act smart. What the time is, you have to behave like this. So remember, some things you can change. You cannot change everything. Second point I've written, strategic surveillance. Pay attention. What is strategic surveillance, students? Strategic surveillance, I'll give you an example, try to understand. Okay, first I'll explain what is surveillance, then you'll understand the concept, students. Okay. But a Saturday, when my lecture gets over in the evening, so lecture is supposed 6 to 9. So 9 o'clock the lecture gets over. My Saturday day must have started at 7 o'clock in the morning. So 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the evening, if I'm busy taking lecture, then when I'm going back home now, so we find at some particular places now, there are police standing with a barricade. There are barricades as such. And they'll ask us to wait. And then accordingly, student, they'll ask some people get out the car. And then these people will have to undergo that particular breathing test. Breathing test, Aparna, why? To see whether the person is drinking and driving or not. If he's drinking and driving, student, then they'll be taking some fine from that person. What is police doing at that point of time? They are doing surveillance. Idea is what? Saturday, Sunday is a holiday. So there are many drinking and driving cases. So in order to avoid accidents as such, surveillance is done. Surveillance is generally done. Be very clear what I'm saying. This first point I said assumption, this was specific. According to you, this is general. Now, what does strategic surveillance means? Be very clear. Many a time, students, what happens? I am doing business now. I'm supposed to be very clear of the assumptions. At the same time, beta, I should be very clear of what my competitors are doing. Someshwara, understand, beta? Surveillance is done to know what competitors are doing. Why? Because I have to compete with them now. One day I was reading a newspaper, so very interesting, and in the newspaper there was an article that Ratan Tata has a meeting with Elon Musk. Ooh. Ratan Tata has a meeting with Elon Musk. But Ratan Tata, whenever you think of him now, you would find one day he goes to a particular place in London and he buys that biggest steel company in the world, Chorus. So imagine buying steel is so difficult, expensive. He buys the biggest steel company, Chorus, for 12,000 crore. But 12,000 crore that time was a very big amount. Then you tell your dad, buy a Jaguar. Dad will stare at you. Pagal idli ka paisa nahi hai abhi. Jaguar kidhar se laega? He buys that Jaguar company, Land Rover, Range Rover. And one day he has a meeting with Elon Musk. So people in my country now, they started thinking, what? Is he buying Tesla also tomorrow? But Ratan Tata is a person you know very well, beta. Don't get me wrong. The other day, government said we want to sell Air India. He said, I'll buy Air India. Air India में सानिया एक plane थोड़ी लेने का पूरा company लेना है ना full. He said, I'll buy Air India. Sometime back, one company was having the maximum number of flights, Jet Airways. He said, I'll buy Jet Airways. Arey Baba. So if Ratan Tata says, I will buy Elon Musk Tesla company, so who will get maximum shivers in the pant? Maruti. Why Maruti? Because 50% cars that people buy in India is Maruti car. Na? So Maruti would get an idea what is happening today. Simple. Ratan Tata is meeting Elon Musk. If he doesn't buy Tesla, at least he'll learn from him, or his people will learn from him how to make electric cars. Tan-tan-tan. Which that signal was sufficient for Maruti to venture into electric cars. So, bacha, strategic surveillance may be very clear. Keep your eyes, keep your ears open. Listen what is happening around you. See what is happening and always try to read in between the lines. When I say this, bacha, I mean only this. You are supposed to know as good of yourself as much of your competitor. Here in MBA, we teach like this also, student. Ratan Tata has bought shares of Maruti. So Maruti says we also have shares of Tata Motors. Why? What you all are doing, we should get an idea. That is strategic surveillance. Chalo, pay attention over here. But please remember, premise control is the assumption that you had made. Strategic surveillance is general monitoring. General monitoring. I'll give you an example. This example can be very clear. See, most of the offices nowadays, what they have done, they have put cameras in different places. Someshwara, they put cameras. Cameras are for what purpose? Not to look at one person, but to know generally how people are working as such. So surveillance is something like that. See, it involves general monitoring of various sources of information to uncover unanticipated information having an impact on the organizations. How can you do that? Reading financial and other newspapers, business magazines, meetings, conferences, discussions at clubs or parties. That means you should be alert. What is happening, what the others are doing as such, I should be. So note, this is an important point, but premise control is with the focus on assumptions, whereas surveillance control is without specific focus, it's general monitoring of environment. So come on fast. First is premise, next is strategic control, next is special alert control. See this point. Special alert control. Very easy. You know, there's a company, student. I used to have shares of this particular company, Bharti Airtel. Vodafone. Both these companies were doing excellent business. Superb. Bharti Airtel share price was 800 rupees. Vodafone was also good. Vodafone I never monitored, but it was good. But achanak they said our client base will increase, and 70% of the income both these companies used to get was on the calls. So if I make a call as such, so they'll charge me some amount of money, right now. And bacha, that is the way they used to get the income. Now what happened? They had predicted that their customer base will go up by 10 to 15%. Good. 10 to 15% sales will increase. Everything was going right. But my dear student, Mukesh Ambani came in between. Jio. And when Jio came, student, what happened? Oh my God. दिल के अरमा आंसुओं में बह गए. मतलब बच्चा क्या है? All their dreams, come on, dream students got quashed in the sense that they thought that the client base will go up by 10%. Actually, the client base reduced by 20%. Why it has happened? Reason is simple, because a new competitor has come about whom we were not knowing. Imagine, student, one particular person says, I'm selling what? Color TV, I'm selling washing machine, I'm selling refrigerator, but there is no sale only. Arey pagal, all shops are closed. How will I go and buy? My wife would tell me, I want to buy a better refrigerator. I said, chal, but kidhar chal? Government of India is not allowing the shops to open. Acha, when I give an order online, student, the product that I get is not good quality at times. So I want to see and buy. Now, if a company like Bosch says, we are not able to sell, so idiot, because of what? Come on, tell me. Corona problem going on. Sanya, one particular company says we make color TV, washing machine, refrigerator in Israel, and we are not able to sell. बोला अरे पागल, कभी वो हमास वाला बॉम्ब फेंकेगा, रॉकेट फेंकेगा तो सब जाएंगे साथ में, right now? The country is facing a war. When the country is facing a war, then how? To be very clear, why we didn't succeed? Because our assumptions we made were wrong. We are supposed to make strategic surveillance. Then, bacha, here special alert control. Something unexpected happened. Unexpected, I said, students, some new company came in the market. War between the between countries as such. Some medical problem has erupted. Lockdown in the country. That is the reason, students. And last, bacha, सबसे important for you all is most of the time, students, that Josh in which they start doing CA, that Josh is gone. I'll tell you like this. You saw that movie Uri Attack. There that person was saying, how's the Josh? High, sir. Beta, Josh should be high till when? Till you achieve your objective income. Suppose Josh is very high, you sit in the aeroplane, you enjoy the ride, and then the Josh is over. तो मार खा के आएगा ना बाहर से. तो many a time students here understand implementation control में problem क्या है? What is the problem, बच्चा? The problem is that Josh, that spirit with which you started na, has fizzled out. Fizzled out in the sense what? The day you cleared your 12th standard exams na, your mom, your dad looked at you with so much of love and affection, thinking what? my Someshwara will become a CA. And why not? Every parent, the child is the biggest asset. My Vansh, my Sanya, my Aparna, na, so bacha, my daughter, my son will become a CA grade. And obviously, you also want to make them happy. So, with so much of hard work, effort, spirit, you took admission in CA Foundation. And bacha, you put in lot of efforts and you got excellent marks. Great. Some students cleared, some students did not clear. So, bacha, then what happens? Some students will come to CA Inter. Here, CA Foundation course, when there were 4 papers, MCQs. So, most of the time, student MCQs were easy. I know of some student, they said, sir, when you used to solve questions in the lecture, most of the option was third or fourth option which was correct. They said, sir, I played with third and fourth, I'm in CA Inter. Chalo, good. So those who were thinking they are still in CA Foundation, why they did not clear? And some students cleared by playing third or fourth option. Now they come in Inter and they come in Inter, you realize that 6:30 the lecture is going to start. Oh my God. So you have to get up at 6:30. The lecture moment it gets over at 9:30, 10 o'clock, sir is ready at 10 o'clock. Lecture will get over at 1 o'clock. Then there are 10 subjects you have to study. So what happens, students? That spirit, that Josh which was there na, in foundation course, it fizzles out by the time you come in CA Inter. So many subjects, and sometimes students, you don't understand things. Sometimes you actually want to understand, still you're not understanding. So, bacha, if that is the case, your thrust has gone now. So why? Because the thrust is not there. And a child who has shivers in his inter, then bacha, how will he come to the final level? Difficult. So implementation control, when I say, but see, special alert control, at times unexpected events may force organization to reconsider the strategy. These control help organization to cope up with these eventualities, form crisis management teams to handle the situation. Sudden changes in government, natural calamities, terrorist attack, unexpected mergers, acquisition, all that as such. Implementation control, beta, I said, is directed towards assessing the need for changes in overall strategy in light of unfolding events. अभी देखो दो पार्ट है इसमें. The two ways of implementation control are monitoring strategic thrust. Monitoring strategic thrust का मतलब जोश. जोश का मतलब with what vengeance you started. Is that spirit still in you to complete that particular thing? Many a times I said it gets fizzled out. Sorry, then you'll not be able to achieve what you want. And then, bacha, you have to do milestone reviews. Milestone review is something like this. You joined CA Foundation course, you cleared it. So your vision was to become a CA. So milestone review 1 done. Don't think of CA final now. Think of CA inter, next target. Then CA. So milestone review is something like this. I used to stay in Chennai and I was having holiday for 3-4 days as such. So I went to that beautiful place, Pondicherry. Pondicherry is Baju mein. So Pondicherry, bacha, when we went over there as such, so I was told there is one place where Chinese premier had come for that particular visit. Some particular cave was there. I said, I'll also go over there. That's a beautiful place. So someone told me the distance over there is 200 kilometers, something like that. So 100 kilometers was that, then other 100 kilometers. Then, bacha, the distance becomes easier to travel. First day only you have not cleared your CA foundation and you say, I become a chartered accountant. No, please. First foundation. So these are the cases, students. Come on. Monitoring strategic thrust. I said the Josh. Always remember that spirit should be very, very high. For that, don't drink a McDowell, but take inspiration from something better as such. Okay. Monitoring strategic thirst help managers to determine whether the overall strategy is progressing as desired, and milestone reviews. So all active necessary to implement strategies are segregated in terms of time, event. I can also put it like this. Imagine one says, sir, 3 hours I will study. Great. And 3 hours may I'll finish 20 pages. So this is a milestone review. Now he's studying for 3 hours, he completes 20 pages. So bacha, next 3 hours may he'll complete another 20 pages. So maybe in 6-7 days he'll finish SM portion also. But then he says 3 hours I studied, sir, but I could finish only 10 pages. Then something is wrong. Then maybe you'll have to change your strategies as such. So please, my dear students, always remember, don't put the blame on those people who are in a lower position. Blame, you should be very clear. First, the top level management should manage. Now see, this is students' strategic control. Now it becomes very easy. Now comes two more control, student. One is operational control and one is management control. I'll put it like this, pay attention. Suppose in JK Shah classes, I take some lectures. There is another professor who takes lectures. JK Shah sir comes and talks to us, right? Okay, what is happening? So beta, he talks to me, he talks to that Mansi madam, he talks to another professor as such, everyone. So this is supposed to be what control? Come on, tell me. Operational control. Operational control is what? Individual department. Then he says all those particular individual teachers who are there, I call them, it will take too much of time, and he decides to call Sheikh sir. Okay, sir, you come and tell me, are the students happy? Is it that some students have some problems? Some teachers, they feel are going fast, going slow, something like that. So beta, that particular control will be called as what? Management. The first point is clear. Operational control may beta, now look from an organization point of view. If I'm taking control from the corporate office, Ratan Tata, that was premise control, special alert control. Now I'm trying to find out from the production department, kya hua? Why production is not done properly? He says, sir, raw material is not coming properly. So I'm looking after what? Inventory control. I'm looking after stock. I'm looking at the labor is coming properly or not. Those issues, if I'm looking at, is operational control. See this? Some of the examples of operational control can be stock control, production control, quality control, cost control, budgetary control. So beta, this is supposed to be what? Tell me fast. Functional level. Remember, operational control is the process of evaluating the performance of SBUs, divisions, and their contribution to the achievement of organization goal. In other words, this is important. Operational control means focusing on micro or individualistic control. Micro, small point of view, right? The thrust of operational control is on individual task or transaction as against total or more aggregate management function. See, for example, procuring specific items on that. So, beta, remember the way I said, I am asked, kya kar rahe hai? Operational. Sheikh sir is asked, management. JK sir is told, sir, something that you did, premise control or strategic control. Now see, management control mein beta kya likha? When compared with operational control, management control is more inclusive or more aggregative. Why more aggregative? Here, bacha, if there are 20 teachers teaching in Chennai branch, instead of asking 20 teachers, JK sir will have Sheikh sir only answering everything. Yes, so it's what? Come on, aggregative, na? In the sense of embracing the integrated activities of complete department, division, or entire business, instead of merely narrowing circumscribed activities or subunits. The basic purpose of management is the achievement of the enterprise goal, short range and long range, in the most effective and efficient manner. So my dear students, all levels of management should be accountable. Accountable, why? Because they get the share of the success. They should all be held responsible for anything goes wrong. That is why three levels as such. Come on. Strategic, again, management, and first one I said what? Tell me. Operational control. Any doubts? याद रहेगा ये सबको. What we have studied today, beta, be very clear in that. That four boxes we studied, na, effective, ineffective, efficient, inefficient. That is very important. Then issues and strategy implementation, most important. What did I say? Issue and strategy implementation may remember the best way of understanding that is what ideas in your mind. If it remains in your mind, it will be never achieved practically. So from your mind, ideas should come in paper. From paper, it should come on the ground. For that, you have to make plans, programs, projects, make arrangement of funds. If you say, I want to become a CA, good. Now start working, studying as a chartered accountant would have studied as such. Tomorrow we'll continue. Shouldn't finish the portion, right? Any doubts? Please ask me. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you, Beta. Thank you. God bless you. Bye, bye. Tomorrow we'll meet. Huh?